Hey guys, Blue here, bringing you Joey's deck profile. I know some of you have been waiting a while for this deck profile, like our other main characters, and again, we're treating these all as if they're, quote, new releases, so the deck profiles are coming out after the character's last performance. So we saw Joey versus Merrick. We might do Joey versus Kaiba, we'll see. But anyway, so this is going to be the deck profile for Joey. At the end, I will include his new side deck, which is something we have never done for him because we have never put him in the circumstances to need it. So this deck has changed a bit for sure, and we've done some really cool things with it going through the Battle City story arc. So like we said at the beginning of this and throughout this tournament, or tournament recreation, all the matches were going to be just like they were in the anime. The outcomes will vary based on who ultimately wins the duel. However, this time we actually decided that rather than having our final finished decks that we've been using all this time, to actually let characters like Joey's deck play out. Because really, Yugi didn't really take anything from his opponents minus really Slifer. Joey was, of course, taking cards from all the opponents, which most of them were people we knew anyway. So his deck was a compilation of those cards, and as we went through Joey's duels, we actually added those cards back in. But what you're going to see is our standard Joey deck, which is actually, despite being Battle City Joey, is his deck upon completion when he has obtained all those cards. So I'll go through the deck. Also, I can't stress enough, because we've gotten this before, there is no red eyes in the deck because it's his Battle City deck. It does have the cards he obtained through Battle City, but he lost red eyes before the tournament, and he did not get it back sometime after the conclusion. So for that being said, we did not include red eyes in his deck because he had at no point played it. He did play the other cards, just granted at different periods of time. So no, there will never be any red eyes in this deck. One Alligator Sword, Axe Raider, the Baby Dragon, Battle Warrior, Flame Swordsman, Garuzis, Giltia, who didn't really make much of an appearance, Swordsman of Landstar, Gearfried, Guilford the Lightning, definitely like a super awesome card, Hayabusa Knight, Weevil's Insect Queen, Esperoba's Jinzo, Little Wingard, or the anime Tiny Guardian, Panther Warrior, Rocket Warrior, Legendary Fisherman from Mako. Although he was seen being handed the Fortress Whale, we did not include that in Joey's deck. It's not something that really came out at any point, but we did see Legendary Fisherman, so we went with the ones that we definitely saw. And then the last monster is Time Wizard. So removing the cards that were, awarded from other victories, it was really stuff like extra versions of a Little Wingard or Gearfried. It was stuff like that. We just didn't double up on the bigger trump monsters like Guilford. But otherwise, and if you wanted to go through that, it was really arbitrary. You could do an extra Panther Warrior if you really want, although he has that condition. So it was just, the lower level monsters that are easy to summon. So going through the spells. Foolish Burial, Giant Trunade, 1 Graceful Dice, 1 Legendary Sword, 1 Lightning Blade, Monster Reborn, 2 Polymerizations to allow Joey to make, both, or, as many as both fusions in one duel. Although we have cut down on the Baby Dragons to 1, so he would need the Monster Reborn, but still plausible. Pot of Greed, Question, Roulette Spider. Really happy this got printed, and overall the effect is, I think, pretty pretty good to replicate what not exactly from the anime, but I think as far as like the whole roulette thing and the way it works. Salamandra we finally included. It had been some discussions. Some viewers here and there commented on the inclusion of it, so we kind of, after looking at the whole thing, Scapegoat and Shield and Sword finished up the spells. His trap list is also extensive. Fairy Box, Gamble, Grave Robber. Now, Grave Robber is a card that we did errata because, it has certainly a different effect than the anime version. So we have omitted the life point cost, but it works relatively the same way. The biggest thing was the 2,000 life points. I mean, I can understand balancing that for obviously TCG gameplay, even though TCG, OCG still many that anyway. Also, I didn't expressly say it, but if it needed to be said, the Flame Swordsman and the Guiltia were in the deck because since they were normal monsters in the anime, we treat them as such in our duels. So they are summoned to play like normal monsters without needing the fusion pieces. So when I say Joey's fusion deck, I mean the monsters that were actually fusion summoned in the anime. Kunai with Chain, Magical Arm Shield, Nutrient Z, Skull Dice, and the last, Trap Hole of Spikes. So that finishes up Joey's whole main deck, and the fusion deck is the Alligator Sword Dragon, new for Battle City, and then the old school 1000 Dragon, which of course wasn't really a fusion in the anime. It was Baby Dragon aged by Time Wizard. The fusion is just a lot easier. But so these are Joey's two fusions. Again, omitting ones that were actually normal monsters in the anime, which really could have just been normal monsters in the TCG and the OCG. So that finishes out, again, the main deck, the fusion deck. So for the first time, we're going to go through and show you the side deck for Joey, which was when he was possessed by Merrick, and Merrick pumped his deck with a lot of powerful yet illegal cards for that one duel with Yugi. So this kind of came off with us doing Jesse's deck from GX, where we were able to give him a side deck to kind of side in the Rainbow Dark Dragon and that dark element that he had. So it's 3 Hinatoma, 3 Meteor of Destruction, and 1 Raigeki. This is what we built for the side deck, so, unfortunately we didn't get to actually do that duel, even though we really wanted to. We ended up having to amend our plans, but that's what you would have seen. And while we had a list for what would come out, it's really relatively arbitrary based on, kind of the cards that we felt that the deck doesn't really revolve around as much or need as much. So our side for this was Guiltia, Insect Queen, Legendary Sword, Polymerization, Question, Salamandra, Gamble. You really could pick any 7 cards that you feel are not as viable in the deck. The one thing we made sure to do, though, was not choose cards that Joey did actually play in that duel, although that is a limited number of cards, so that still gives you a wide range of stuff to pick from if you want to include the Merrick side deck and still preserve the monsters that were actually used. But this is what we pulled out. Ultimately, it's really up to you. This is not something where we have a set side and side out like the Jesse deck, which was actually a lot cleaner. You switch out the 3 fields with the 3 fields, and then the 2 Rainbow Dragons, and that was it. So, Joey's Battle City deck, you know, he brought a lot of new monsters in. He still kept, you know, his definite warrior theme, but with plenty of trumps. And as he went through, his deck gained a lot of really powerful, really strong monsters. So he finished up the tournament pretty well, and then eventually getting back his red eyes, so his deck was pretty stacked. Alright guys, see you in the next duel. Bladjo Anime Games out.